Good luck.
Star of the sport and the pound-for-pound great. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome boxing's pride of Japan, the four-division world champion, the current hard-hitting, undefeated, reigning and defending, undisputed super bantamweight champion of the world, introducing Naoya, the Monster Inoue.
がここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバンこの国は気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games is missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I'm on the move right now. Trying to really just get the most I can out of these last couple days here in Japan. It's been a wildly successful and productive trip beyond my wildest dreams, and I'm just glad that I made this progress while I was here. And I think I'm a different person now than I was when I got here, which is crazy. So I've even grown as a person since I've been here. But I wanted to do this video I wanted to describe to the people the best I can of what it was like to watch the monster fight live, because I noticed that I was getting a lot of questions on my live about it. I noticed that I was getting a lot of questions on my videos, on my shorts about it. So I figured instead of answering 15, 20, 30 different comments, because I got to be efficient with my time, I would just do this video and you guys could take from it what you will. So I had the honor of sitting ringside at the Inoue Ye Joon-Kim fight. God, it was like one of those miracles. Like, I don't want to get into how I got the ringside tickets. Let's just say that my hard work and diligence all these years on YouTube has gained respect from the right people in boxing, and that's how I got in those seats. So respect to the person that got me those seats. He knows who he is. I don't need to say his name. Thank you so much. But as far as like watching Inoue fight live and in person, it was surreal. It was great. Like, he's one of the greatest. I don't know if he's the greatest fighter I've seen in person, but he's definitely in the top like 3 or 4. Because I've seen pretty much everybody that's active right now that you guys would consider top fighters, apart from Usyk. I never saw Usyk fight live, but everyone else I've seen fight live, right? So everyone wants to know what the power. They're like the main question I kept getting was like, what was his punching power like? Could you really hear his power? Could you? And I'll be honest, like I couldn't really hear his power from where I was sitting, even though I was pretty close. I could definitely tell his punching mechanics and his technique. When you're that close to a fighter, and whether they're hitting the bag or in the ring fighting, you can always see like the little nuances of their fundamentals a lot more. So just seeing how fundamentally sound he is in person, that was impressive. Like, there's not a lot of fat on the punches. He's very good at cutting distance off, and if you allow him to tee off on you, he gets, like, seeing how much leverage he gets behind just one shot was really impressive. But to me, well, actually, before I get into that, as far as his power, to address the power, I couldn't really hear the sound of the punches from where I was sitting, but I did hear the sound of the punches from where I was in the tunnel. Because if you guys saw the YouTube shorts, and if you haven't watched the YouTube shorts, go watch them. It's a one-of-one type of content, exclusive only here on True School Sports. I got backstage, and I was in the tunnel, and he walked right by me with his whole team right before he walked out. And right before Inoue walked out to make his entrance to the ring, there's this little corner that's sectioned off. And he went around the corner where it was sectioned off, and he started hitting the pads. And man, it was pretty damn violent. It sounded pretty violent. Even before he went off to that corner, I remember like I was probably halfway down the hall. He was probably like on the other side of the hallway when because I was talking to one of my friends, my good buddy Kai Zema. He's a trainer in LA, and he was there with Kai Watanabe's team, and I was talking to him. So as I'm talking to him, Inoue's on the other side of the hallway in his dressing room, and you could hear him hitting the pads, and they sound like violent. I'm talking about extremely violent gunshots. Like, it sounded like if you got hit with what he was throwing, that you're gonna get severely hurt. So, it's a different sound. It was a different sound than most fighters I've heard hit the pads. Like, because when I watch most fighters or listen to the pads when fighters hit them, it normally only sounds two ways. Normally, it's like the fighters throw really fast and it's like real snappy power, or it's like really heavy-handed power and it sounds like it's just like bricks. And with Inoue's punches, it sounded like fast bricks, if that makes sense. Like, it sounded like it was a little bit of both. That's why I'm saying it sounded different, and that's the best way I could describe it. The way you normally hear the mitts or pads or whatever sound when fighters hit it, there's normally two ways that I hear it in my head. And this sounded different. It sounded like a combination of both those things. So that right there in itself shows you, just off that, how different his power is. And then it kind of reminds me of that one time where Mike Tyson said on his podcast with Sugar Ray Leonard that, he said Sugar Ray Leonard throws punches that are so fast, he makes two punches sound like one. And that's kind of how it sounded in a way. It's the speed and the power can make two punches look and sound like one. And that's the best way I'll describe it. So that was cool to be a part of. Most people in boxing media will never get that experience, to be in Japan, right? In the tunnel, right by the locker room before Inoue walks out and fights and hear him hit the pads. Like, it was crazy. So that was impressive, but to me, that wasn't the most impressive thing about Inoue. The most impressive thing watching a fight live and in person was his speed. His speed. And a more nuanced part of his speed, more like his ability to close the gap. Like, if the space is this big, seeing how fast it closes because of how explosive he is with his feet, that's what was impressive to me. His presence, people, there's words in boxing, like I call them boxing buzzwords. You hear all these words like mental pressure and intelligent aggression and all these words that people use to sound smarter than they really are about boxing. But no, Inoue's presence in the ring is something you can feel when you watch the opponents, because he doesn't really get flustered. If a guy moves around, he's taking really calm steps to the left or to the right to cut the ring off, and he's very good at making his opponents waste energy. So I would just say his presence, and his ability to close range. Those are the two things that it really impressed me the most. The two best performances that I've seen live and in person that I would put this, like, because he was supposed to demolish Ye Joon-Kim, so it wasn't like it was like any sort of even fight. But if in terms of just pure like performances, the two best performances I've seen in person my whole life watching boxing, as far as like the champions and names in boxing today, I would say Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. in 2 rounds. That was probably like the best performance I've ever seen, like, at a live fight. Obviously Deontay Wilder isn't as good as Inoue, but Deontay Wilder against the Vernon rematch was pretty damn sensational. Angelo Leo versus Bernardo Lopez, I thought was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen, because he showed a lot of different looks in that fight and then ended it with a one-punch knockout against a guy that was perceived to be a big puncher. So, that was really good. But he's definitely up there. I seen Terrence Crawford fight live twice. Once against Majimov, which wasn't that impressive, but then once early in his career against Hank Lundy, that was impressive. That was impressive. Boots versus Thomas Delorme was impressive, seeing his speed and his reflexes. So I would say he's definitely one of the top 5 best fighters I've seen fight live. I've seen Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders when he broke Billy Joe Saunders' orbital bone. That was impressive, because Saunders is like real slick and whatnot. But he's up there. A lot of positive attributes as far as Inoue and what he brings to the table. So yeah, that's my thoughts on watching him fight. Last thing I'll say, I highlighted it in my live, I'll say it here as well. Very different environment fighting in Japan than the USA, because in the USA, crowds are more hostile and loud and boisterous, and if you fight on the West Coast, there's a bunch of drunk Mexicans and things like that. But in Japan, there might be people drunk, but if they are, they're not doing a great job of showing it, because it's really quiet. It's so quiet when he's fighting, you can hear a pin drop, and then every now and then you might hear like some of the fans yell out, "Naoya! Naoya!" People yelling that out every now and then, like his first name. But it wasn't until you got a knockout that like the crowd really livened up. So if you're an American fighter to come fight in Japan, it's like it's a totally different experience. You're gonna have to be really mentally focused because it'll throw you off. You'll get like anxiety going into fights because of how hostile the crowd is. But if there's no hostility, it just feels like sparring, and so it's definitely different. But it's their culture, right? So I gotta respect it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about my thoughts. If you went to the Inoue fight yourself, or have been to an Inoue fight yourself, give me your best observations. What do you think stands out about him? What do you think makes him like great to watch fight live? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys click right over here.
Keep watching my boy BT put on the best interviews out here.